intro. We can try one more. I am so excited to start this channel with you guys. I am like the millennial that knows nothing about technology, so yeah, I took like the entire month to like figure out all the back end stuff so that when the season started, I could just talk all things football with you guys. And that time is here. Thursday night, everything gets kicked off. Let's jump right into it with week 1. All right, guys. So a lot of my picks for week 1, I'm not really putting a lot of stock into. I feel like weeks like 1 through 3, I'm not expecting to see good football. Everything starts, obviously, at Arrowhead. Houston, Deshaun Watson leads the Texans to Kansas City. I'm so excited for this game. Obviously, the NFL usually decides well, picking a really fun opener. Lots of thoughts here. Really excited for both of these quarterbacks having gotten paid this offseason. I am such a Deshaun Watson stan. I just think he is one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league, in my personal opinion. So I'm really excited for him. I'm not excited for this team this year. And that really sucks because I want like nothing but multiple rings for Deshaun just as much as I want them for Lamar and Mahomes. But I just can't see it happening. I feel like so many people are talking about like Nuke being traded away and like this team is going to be fine. I feel like I hear too much like the team is going to be fine without DeAndre Hopkins, and I don't agree with that because DeAndre Hopkins is the number 1 like undoubted receiver in the league, in my opinion. So I just don't see it happening. And I have so many questions about their secondary. I know they had injury struggles last year, but I don't know what to expect from them. But I don't have high expectations for this Texans team this year. And then as far as Kansas City, we know all of the other storylines. I could obviously just, repeat all of that, but there's no need to. I'm as excited as you guys are about them. The 2 things that I'm like keeping my eye on and interested in seeing: Juan Thornhill's return, because he was starting to really find the groove at the end of his rookie season before he got injured. So I'm interested to see how he kind of gets back into the swing of things. And Willie Gay Jr., the linebacker that they drafted in the 2nd round. So I follow so much of the draft, and I didn't hear much about him at the beginning of like draft season last year. And then there was so much buzz. So I'm curious like what Brett Veach saw in him, and then obviously that last minute buzz reminded me of the safety that the Packers took out of Maryland that kind of started getting like late buzz too in the 2019 draft. That's how I feel about this linebacker. So I can't wait to see what he brings to this team and to the league. Edit, I forgot to mention this. I have Kansas City taking the next game. We've got Seattle heads to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. My thoughts, I'm going to start with my thoughts on the Falcons this year. Matt Ryan is a very capable quarterback with great pieces around him. I like that they went and got Todd Gurley. I don't know what he's going to be, and that sucks because I hope that he can have that resurgence here. They have very capable receivers there. They've equipped the O-line this past couple of drafts. This should be a good team. Even with Tom entering the division, I'm making no excuses for this team. They should definitely be a solid, they have such a good roster. There's no excuses here. 7 playoff spots. I can see them being a team that catches their stride. Similar to how I feel about the Cardinals, I think that they're going to be a team that catches their stride around weeks 3 or 4. Seattle. I do have Seattle winning this game, but I want to like this team as much as I feel like everybody that likes football likes this team, but I don't. I'm not impressed with them. That sounds so harsh. I want to be a Russell Wilson fan, and I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure if it's Brian Schottenheimer's play calling that I don't like. I don't follow enough of the Seahawks. I watch them a lot, but I don't love this team. They just bore me. Like, I just feel, and they always make it to the playoffs, but they never look like some super dominant team. Hopefully the Jamal Adams ad makes a difference. Hopefully they give me something to like want to like, but I am just so not into this team. But I do have them winning this game. Next up, we've got the Jets versus the Bills in Buffalo. Obviously, I have the Bills winning this one. I'm going to start with the Jets, actually. So I think culture first, right? And I'm just not a believer in whatever culture or lack of that Gase is building there, unfortunately. I really like Denzel Mims, though, at Baylor. I think Sam Darnold's a really capable quarterback. Not that I think we're going to be able to see too much pulled out of him because of the situation and so many of those surrounding factors. But, yeah, I mean, I don't have high expectations for this team, straight up. But the Bills, I am such a Bills believer. I love Josh Allen. I don't care that everybody thinks he just like risks it too much. I'd rather have a quarterback like that. You just kind of have to be like, okay, so we're going to tone these things down. I don't think he takes like Jameis Winston level risks, so I think that he is absolutely worth it. I'm so excited to see Diggs in this system. I know Allen still has those accuracy issues, but hopefully Gabe Davis can kind of help being like a big body target to help offset that a little bit. And Diggs' veteran ability, maybe he can adjust and help Josh Allen out there. But yeah, I'm excited about this team. And Tre'Davious White, who I love his play style. It's hard not to love this organization, like top down from the front office through the coaching staff. They just seem like good people. The Bears taking on the Lions up next. Okay, I'm going to start with Chicago. Yeah, I'm going to start with Chicago. Okay. I think we see Foles starting before the end of this season. I really do. I think they're going to end up making the switch at quarterback. And I love the Robert Quinn out on defense. I loved him in Dallas last year. But I just see this team finishing last in the division. I think it's so wild how much of a turn they took from the 2018 season. I think they could even be in the range to get a Fields, a Lance, or a Trevor Lawrence. So yeah, so I don't think you guys will be in quarterback limbo for very long, and hopefully Nagy gets to keep his job and be able to like ride that out. But I'm not a big Bears believer, especially with the Montgomery injury. I feel so bad for Allen Robinson having to like hold the offense together, or like he's like a Band-Aid, like trying to hold together this poor offense. And then when I think about Detroit, so similar to how I was thinking about the Jets, like culture is the foundation, right? I wasn't a big Patricia believer in all of the kind of like rumblings of him not getting along necessarily with some players, but it seems like he's turned that around, and I'm all for people kind of like recognizing we need to make a pivot because this is not how I should be leading this team. So I have so much respect for how I think he handles some of the things in this offseason. That's super cool. Beyond that, the people in the field, Stafford's back, has great receivers, a great backfield that they just added Adrian Peterson to. It wasn't even necessary. I already loved that DeAndre Swift ad with Kerryon Johnson. Now you add AP. Solid. I feel really good about this team, and I think they could sneak the other two guys in Green Bay and Minnesota in this division. But I still have them above Detroit just because I haven't seen it from Detroit, but I wouldn't be surprised if they like hit those guys in the mouth. Speaking of the other guys in the division, Green Bay, Minnesota heads to Green Bay, and I actually have Minnesota winning this. Here are my thoughts on both of these teams this season. Minnesota, I was listening to the Around the NFL podcast, and Chris Wessling actually mentioned it and put good words to it that were kind of my thought process. Minnesota was between rebuilding and retooling this offseason, and they definitely retooled, completely reloaded on that defense. I was shocked, like absolutely shocked, because back in like the spring, I was like, what are you guys doing? What are you doing? You're getting rid of everybody. But for them to make the moves that they made, adding Yannick Ngakoue, I feel just as confident in that roster as I did before. I think Kirk Cousins is a solid quarterback, solid enough to get the job done. I think you have like those mid-ground solid guys. Like I think of Trubisky, Derek Carr falls in that category for me, that you're like, they're solid, but they aren't solid enough to be able to get you to a championship. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw Kirk Cousins in a Super Bowl kind of thought, and I'm able to get his team to a win, if that makes sense. There's like the difference between those middle ground guys, and I think he's on the positive side of the middle ground. He has some nice pieces around him. I'm excited about that Justin Jefferson ad, even though I heard that he's not having the best camp. Hopefully he just needs to kind of find his stride and his footing. He has a great veteran there in Adam Thielen. They have those tight ends, Irv Smith, Kyle Rudolph. So you might see some 2 tight end sets to help the young guy out. And then hopefully within his year 2, he really starts to get it together. When I think about Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers being calm, collected, reevaluating old tape and stuff, that terrifies me. I think it should terrify everybody. It's like a silent assassin. That's how I think of it. Like, a reflective Aaron Rodgers, I want to stay out of his way. I don't know that I think that they're going to win this game. Of course, they absolutely can. This was the hardest one for me to pick, but I think they will be just fine this season. I'm disappointed in the fact that the front office didn't do anything to help him, but I love that he said, whatever, this is what I have to work with, so I will put the whole team on my back because of Aaron Rodgers, and I can do that. He's like my OG in terms of like fun quarterback. All right, next up, Miami heading to New England. This Miami team I have zero expectations for. There's 3 teams this year. They are one of them that I have no expectations for. They could win a bunch of games, lose a bunch of games. I just wouldn't be surprised or have any real feelings, but I am excited for the 2021 Dolphins. That's the team that I've got my eye on. I can't wait to see what they become from there forward. I like the Lynn Mountain Jr. ad. I thought that was fun. But again, no big expectations. Love the culture that Flores is building down there. I think him and Chris Greer are such a great pairing. Like, I'm just such a fan of this team for the future and like moving forward. And I love that Flores is a defensive-minded coach that isn't afraid to like add pieces to. I feel like sometimes defensive-minded coaches just forget about the offense, and I'm like, you still need a quarterback. Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. So I love that he is not that way, and I think he will be the first like successful Belichick disciple. When I think about New England, who I do have winning this game, Bill Belichick is such a genius. Such a genius. I find it so intriguing that everybody was so amused by him praising Cam in the media, especially because it's not a Bill thing. But Bill Belichick is a great coach because he's a great teacher, and everybody knows when you're teaching certain people, everybody, responds differently to different things. So I think he just understands that Cam is somebody that responds to positive words of affirmation. He knows Cam is likely to read headlines where Tom is less likely to do that. So he's just playing to his quarterback. Simple as that, which is why I'm just so intrigued by him. If I could have lunch with 3 people, dead or alive, like, he is one of those people, absolutely, without a doubt. Like, yeah, him and like Rihanna, because she's just a legend. I used to not like Rihanna that much, actually. Not that anybody asked, but yeah. The Eagles heading to the team in Washington, the Washington football team. Okay, Philly. The Rager is how you say it, injury really sucks. I think that Carson Wentz and Doug Peterson, like the pairing of them, they've obviously shown us over the past few years, like, you can literally take men off the street and like that played football 10 years ago and we're still going to be able to make it to the playoffs, which is amazing to me. I think we'd like undersell that. I'm not a big believer in them being able to pull that off this year, but we'll see. I think they have a great tight end in Ertz. I like some of the pieces that they added in the offseason, but I'm not too keen on them this year. I don't know. I have a bad feeling. I don't know. And that's not just me talking as a Dallas fan, because I would honestly, crazy enough, I would love to see Carson Wentz play to MVP caliber level again, just because it's so much fun to watch. It really is. But I don't know. I don't know how much longer they can just keep patching guys up and like throwing their crutches to the side and putting them on the field. As far as Washington, they just need some time. They just need some. I'm excited for Dwayne Haskins to have another chance, but it's literally like an uphill battle, like odds stacked against him kind of chance. So I'm very intrigued to see how that goes. Raiders head to Carolina to take on the Panthers. Yeah, they're in Carolina. They are. Vegas. So I'm just as excited about everyone else I'm just as excited as everyone else about Henry Ruggs. Intrigued by this Bryan Edwards hype. That was very left field to me. And I also, though, feel like they're in like quarterback limbo. And it's this weird situation, like, where I think they're gonna get wins, but so they'll be out of like top 3 quarterback range, but maybe they should be going for one of those top 3 quarterbacks. Clearly something in my eye. But that's how I feel about the Raiders. I feel like they're in quarterback limbo, really. As far as Carolina, they're another one of those teams I have zero expectations for this year. I'm excited for Rule in the NFL. This team, so Miami is like 2021 to me. This team is like a 2022 type of team. I'm nervous that we're going to see McCaffrey's like best years wasted. That is my one fear here. And I love Derek Brown. I really loved him at Auburn, and I'm an offense girl. Like, I'm like a high flying, like, pass the ball offense girl too. Like, not even run game is fun when like the Ravens and the Niners do it, but for the most part, I'm like, throw the ball. So for me to love a defender, they really have to stand out to me and like really excite me. And he was one of those people that I was like, I love this guy. So I'm excited about that for them. Next up, we have the Colts heading to Jacksonville. As far as this Colts team, not really impressed with Rivers. This is actually one too. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw Jacoby taking the field. Yeah. I do like the run game. I like the Jonathan Taylor ad. I already liked Marlon Mack. I think I remember him from a couple years ago when they played Dallas. Buckner is obviously a notable ad on that defense. Darius Leonard is a stud. I think they'll be good. I think they'll be fine. Yeah. I think they're going to win this game because Jacksonville, I wish that they believed in Gardner Minshew. Like, I wish, yeah, that's sad. But the recent exodus definitely says otherwise. And I am president of the DJ Chark fan club. No, it's literally me. Like, I want to be at the top of that list. I'm obsessed with him. Like, he's one of my, Nuke is my favorite receiver for sure. But there's something about, I love watching DJ Chark play. Really love it. The Browns taking on the Ravens is up next. The Browns offseason was rough. Like, I feel like that injury report was a little bit scary, but their defensive front is intact. Their offense is still intact. So it's mainly just the back end, and that Ronnie Harrison ad, I respect that they went out and did that. And it also might work out for them that they took a veteran talent now at safety over trying to get a rookie to play up to where they wanted him to be potentially. So that could work out and be really beneficial for them. Obviously, it's like now or never for Baker, like his time to shine. They have all of the pieces in place. Get out there and do it, kind of thing. I know it is a new coach and a new staff and system, so that would be the one knock. But I don't think people are going to make many excuses for him this year. I do have the Ravens taking this one though. It is so hard not to root for this team. Similar to Buffalo, they just seem like they've got it. They've got something going there. Love Lamar Jackson. He just seems like what a guy, kind of guy. Like, I don't know. I love him. I'm interested to see what kind of added layer J.K. Dobbins can add to this already well-established run game. I think that James Prochet is going to have more of a substantial role over the years with this team than Devin Duvernay. I feel like Devin Duvernay, because he was taken above Prochet, might be talked about more, but I can see Prochet having the higher ceiling. What else? Love the Patrick Queen ad in the draft. Love the Calais Campbell ad in free agency. Big fan of this team. I want them to live up to our expectations and go do it. I hate having high expectations for teams because somebody's going to let us down, and I hope it's not them. The Chargers taking on the Bengals. The Chargers. I'm like the saddest person in America over the Derwin news. I know everybody else is sad, but I'm the saddest for sure. I thought he was like, I was ready for this man to get comeback player of the year. Like, I'm so sad. Their defense is still going to be great. It's such a beautiful roster on paper, so hopefully they live up to that. I don't know. I'm assuming they're going to announce the starting quarterback on Hard Knocks this week. I don't know what to expect. I don't know that I think that Justin Herbert will be a long-term starter in the league. That is like my hot take here. And yeah, I feel, they're good, but they're in a tough division. And then when I think about the Bengals, this is the final team that I have zero expectations for this year. King of college football, Joe Burrow leading them. They've definitely got some time to work on things, rebuild them, and apparently Joe Mixon is a really good running back. I gotta put some respect on the Bengals name and like watch them more this year. That's one of my goals. The game that I think should be the night game this Sunday. The Buccaneers heading to New Orleans to take on the Saints, the battle that we have like been talking about, waiting for since Tom Brady moved into this division. Brady versus Breeze. I cannot wait. As far as the Buccaneers, I am super excited for this defense this year. It's gonna be a pretty defense. I am very, very excited for that. And then my other big question, aside from all the other things everybody's talking about, I know the receivers are really good, but the tight end battle. Like, are we just going to see two tight end sets? Are we just going to see Gronk in the red zone? O.J. Howard is such a good tight end, and now that he has Tom Brady, I just have so many questions there. And if we do just see Gronk in the red zone, it could benefit him and his body, and all of my questions are surrounding the tight end position. Not Tom, not his receivers, not Fournette now in the backfield too. It's all tight end question. And then with the Saints, the Emmanuel Sanders ad was my favorite ad of this offseason. If they would have went and got Clowney, that would have just been like sealing the rich getting richer. I just need them to not, like, they're just too perfect. And the fact that they didn't go further last year, oh, that is like my one, like, I'm not on that team, so I don't know why I feel this so deeply, but I'm like, why? How? So they need to win. Get it together. You guys should, like, they need to win. And Alvin Kamara is my favorite running back to watch. Just favorite. I think he's the best running back, so don't mix up my words, but he's my favorite. Yeah. The Cardinals taking on the 49ers in San Francisco. I have the Cardinals like at least at number 2 in the NFC West. I don't think they're like a hit the ground running like straight out the gate though team. So I think they are going to need to kind of like hit their groove a little bit into week 4. I would see them really finding their identity and like letting us know who they're going to be through this season. But I love this team, probably because they have DeAndre Hopkins and he's just my favorite. But also, I'm excited about the same things you guys are. Cliff and Kyler in year 2, Isaiah Simmons and like what he's going to be in the NFL. This is going to be a really fun team though. And then as far as the Niners, I think we see the starkest drop off from them this year. I think we see a Super Bowl hangover and like a significant drop. And the fact that so many receiver injuries, I know they're a run first team, but that's an issue. But I liked the Kinlaw ad, by the way. I didn't expect that from them. I expected them to take the receiver with that first pick in the first round. And then they ended up going to get Ayuk at the latter end of the first round. I do, though, have San Francisco winning this game. Just because I think the Cardinals are going to need to find their team chemistry, if you will. All right, primetime game on Sunday night. Dallas heading to LA to take on the Rams. As a Cowboys fan, I'm excited for all of the potential of this team, but I don't want to say too much because we do this every single year. So I'm just not even going to. I refuse. But I think that Dak has the ability to really flourish under Kellen Moore. I think this is going to be truly Kellen Moore's offense. I know he was running the offense supposedly last year, but I think it's going to look different this year. I think it's going to really be it. And that could mean that Jerry's going to have to open his wallet big time next year. But more power to it. Like, let it happen. John Fossil being the special teams coordinator excites me. I think we'll see some new wrinkles and things we're not used to with a typically like boring Dallas play calling system. So I think all of the exciting things are there. Mike Nolan as the defensive coordinator apparently is like moving some of those positions and things on defense so that these guys can be in better positions to really step up and be playmakers. So I'm hoping that happens too. They have all the tools. Make it happen, Dallas. That's it. That's where we're at. And as far as Los Angeles, I'm really intrigued by Van Jefferson. So really just starting to get into watching players and thinking, will that translate well into the NFL? And hearing so many positive things about him in the offseason. He wasn't like my favorite of like the receiver heavy draft class that we had last year coming out of Florida. Not that I thought he was bad, it just wasn't, dazzled by him. So I think that however I see him translate could affect a lot of how I now look at receivers and things like that going forward. So I'm intrigued to kind of follow his career. Obviously he has the help of having Sean McVay as a coach, so that might also be making a big effect, but I'm very interested in it. Not a golf fan. I'm just not, like he just, I don't know. But his girlfriend is so pretty. Do you guys watch Hard Knocks? I do have Dallas winning this one. So, we'll see. But I'm not a big believer in the Rams this year. I'm not. All right, Monday Night Football doubleheader. Starting off with the Steelers heading to New York to take on the Giants. I've been saying for a while I'm not a big believer in the Ben return. I do think he's going to be better than what we saw last year, but I'm just not fond of his return. I am willing, though, to eat my words if this man just comes out swinging. And I know Steelers Nation is going to, like, eat me alive. My family is, like, all Steelers fans, too, so I don't know why I feel this way. But lots of Deontay Johnson buzz and him emerging and having a breakout year, so I'd like to see that. I'm interested in what's going on there, and their defense is gold. Mike Tomlin is a heck of a coach. Those are my thoughts there. On the other side, with the Giants, yeah, I mean, I like that they added Logan Ryan, and that's it. Those are my thoughts. And I hope that Saquon Barkley, again, like Christian McCaffrey, I hope we don't see his best years kind of wasted. Final game of the week, rounding it out, Monday Night Football, Tennessee, the Titans taking on the Denver Broncos. I'm really excited for this game. I don't know, I like these two teams, oddly. Yeah, so as far as Tennessee, I think everybody's saying they don't see Tannehill being able to repeat what he did last year, and I do. I actually believe in him being able to keep up that momentum. I know we all know what Derrick Henry is going to do, but you still can't stop him. I'm excited for Jeffrey Simmons being fully healthy. He was like the steal of last year's draft, being that he was injured and they still went and took him anyway because of how talented he was. So I'm excited for that. And plus now the Clowney ad could open things up for sure for him. So I'm all in on this Titans team. They were fun last year. They definitely came out of nowhere, and I like that. I wonder who that team is going to be this year. And then with the Broncos, I loved their draft so much. I don't know how I feel about their defense actually anymore. I mean, I love Von Miller, but I don't know how I feel about their defense anymore. But I like their offense. As long as Locke can obviously get it done, they put him in the best position to succeed. So hopefully we see him succeed. All right, guys, if you made it through all of that talking, thank you so much. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Thanks so much for your support on my little first video. I'm so excited. We're gonna do a recap next week after these games are done. I'll recap the games that I watched because I'm not watching all 16. I'll try to watch obviously a couple on Game Pass, but I'll recap the Thursday, the Monday, the 3 I watched on Sunday, and all of that fun stuff. Comment down below. If you guys are still here, comment down below. Let me know 3 NFL figures, dead or alive, that you would love to have lunch with and why. Let's chat. Comment, critiques. Let me know if I bash your favorite team and you now hate me, but you're still going to tune in for the next video. I can't wait to keep chatting with you guys. Again, thank you so much for your support. Talk soon.